Did you know that there are 1.5 million organizations in the United States? Out of those 1.5 million, Salvation Army is the second largest charity. I am Gayatri Patel, an applied communication student here at University of Arkansas Little Rock. You should care to hear about this because Salvation Army is the second largest charity in the country whose mission is to meet human needs in His name without discrimination. At Salvation Army, I got to experience the importance of their mission and that they always do their best to keep their customers satisfied and to always help the community out for poor and the homeless. While I was there, they would give out free popcorn, sometimes even provide donuts. Salvation Army also has a food charity, cleaning supplies, and clothes for the families that are in need of help. My name is Gayatri Patel, and today I'm going to tell you about my volunteer experience at the Salvation Army. First, I'm going to tell you about Salvation Army and the experience I had while I was there. Next, I'll tell you about the communication principle that connects back to my service learning experience, along with 2 communication concepts, and then finally, I will tell you about the communication principle and ethical implications that I feel like I can improve on. Now let's talk a little bit about Salvation Army. I completed my service at Salvation Army in Conway, Arkansas. I feel like everyone should listen to the speech because it is a nonprofit Christian organization that does not discriminate against others or their religion. The mission of my organization, according to SalvationArmyNorth.org, emphasizes a few key ideas. According to SalvationArmyNorth.org, the mission is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to meet human needs in His name without discrimination. The person or main employee I worked for is a lady named Keely. She's the main employee there and manages a family-owned store here in Conway. Keely is also a very kind, hardworking woman who takes place in her job at Salvation Army and always has such a positive spirit that made me really enjoy my 4 hours that I volunteered there. She let me help organize items throughout the store and trusted the way I would organize the things in the store to her liking. According to SalvationArmyNorth.org, Salvation Army is a Protestant church, Christian church and an international charitable organization. I completed my 4 hours of service learning at the Salvation Army in Conway, Arkansas, which is owned by a local family. The only task that I was given at Salvation Army was to help organize shopping carts full of random items that needed to be placed in the store and then by specific types of items. For example, coffee mugs would need to be placed in the kitchenware of the store, baby clothes in the infant clothing section, and so forth. This is the only task that I was given, and that I had to do that for 4 hours while I was there. I believe that my specific work helped support Salvation Army's mission by helping Keely and the customers by simply greeting them and answering questions that they had without discriminating this organization. I was doing my service learning for sometimes being of a different color would unfortunately make me feel uncomfortable, but my experience there was amazing after the 9/11 tragedy. However, working for such an amazing nonprofit and charitable Christian organization such as Salvation Army has made my experience there such a welcoming feeling and opportunity to help Keely, whom did not act in any sort of way discriminatory to me and respected me being of a different religion, just as I have full respect of the Christian religion. First, I will tell you about my communication principle and communication concept connected to Salvation Army. There is a communication principle and 2 communication concepts connected to my service experience. I think that having communication principles and communication concepts are important to pay attention to when working with or for others. Next, I will be talking about my experience with communication principles and concepts that I have encountered. The relevant communication principle is communication is simultaneous. The definition, according to UALR Survival Guide, page 7, communication is a constant exchange of behaviors that can be interpreted by the other. An example from my service that illustrates this principle is by me helping Keely when she would get busy helping customers. I would come in and step up and help finish the tasks or help the customers as well. My example illustrates the principle because, in my opinion, I believe that since I am a citizen of this country and am of different culture or religion, that my interactions and performance of work helps the community out at this nonprofit organization. The first communication concept is culture. The definition, according to Adler, Rodman, and Dupree 2017, is the language, values, beliefs, traditions, and customs people share and learn. An example from my service that illustrates this concept is that Keely would value me even though I am of different culture. My example illustrates this definition because Keely, the manager, would respect my beliefs and still made me feel comfortable working for her at a Christian-based organization while knowing that I am of a different religious background. The second communication concept is personality. The definition, according to Adler, Rodman, and Dupree 2017, is a set of enduring characteristics that define a person's temperament, thought processes, and social behavior. An example from my service that illustrates this concept is Keely has had an amazing personality, and everyone around her, including customers, have mentioned how amazing she is and always so kind to everyone by the way that she speaks to her customers and cares about them and satisfying their needs in the store. My example illustrates this definition because Keely has such a calm attitude and an excellent work ethic towards her job. She takes her job seriously with such passion. Keely is a very effective worker, not only with me as her helper for the day, but with all her customers that come in. She has really made my experience there enjoyable. Secondly, I will tell you what types of communication concepts and ethical implications I noticed and experienced to help improve my communication and my community. Based on my service experience, I can use communication concepts and ethical implications to improve my communication and help improve my community. Did you know that the littlest things could take you a very long way? For example, simply being punctual shows that you are responsible and mindful of time. It also shows that you respect others' time. One communication concept I could use to improve my communication would be task-oriented listening. The definition, according to Survival Guide page 5, is a listening style that is primarily concerned with accomplishing the task at hand. I chose this concept based on my service experience because I had to make sure that I was effectively listening to Keely whenever I was given a new task to do. This is very important because if you do not listen to what other person wants you to do, you may not do the task correctly or the way that they've wanted it done. I can use this concept to improve my communication by always making sure to pay close attention to instructions and/or how certain tasks need to be done. If I do not know how to do them, I should ask questions on how the task should be done so it can be done correctly. I remember having to ask Keely where I needed to place certain items throughout the store because they were random types of things, and so she told me where the specific items needed to be placed. This would be an example of listening to task-oriented items. An ethical implication I could use to improve my community would be responsibility. The definition, according to Survival Guide page 8, is holding ourselves accountable for our choices, actions, and communication with others. I chose this implication based on my service experience because I strongly believe that each individual should be responsible enough for his or her own actions and effectively communicating with others. When attending my service learning destination, I made sure to be responsible of all the tasks I was given and to effectively do them the way that I was told to and make sure that I was there on time when told to be there. This was a choice I made to be punctual and responsible volunteer and to do my work effectively while I was there. I can use this implication to improve my community by showing others that it is important to make the right choices and actions because everything we do and show is our responsibility, and only we are in control over our own choices and doings. In conclusion, I learned that when helping out a community, it is our responsibility to be where we are told to be, on time, and always be punctual. This is very important, and in order to be successful in any career or job that the future takes us, always be responsible, honest, respectful, and an effective listener. Trust me, the littlest things can take us a very long way. I have now told you about the communication principles and ethical implications that I learned during my service learning. I hope that you all heard something new about Salvation Army. With all of this being said, I have told you about Salvation Army's concern for the community, culture, personality, and personal communications and ethical implications. After hearing about Salvation Army and what they are all about, I hope you all understand why this is the second largest charity in the United States. Thank you.